Today, we have a significant figure, His Eminence Kalu Rimpochey. I'm really honored to welcome you here today, La. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
How have you been lately?
Good. A little bit of engagement here and there. I came to Australia for the first time here in Perth, uh, and then following event in Brisbane and Canberra and so on. And very excited because I just met a few hundred Bhutanese, and we did some meditations and yogas together. A lot of laughter. It was really fun.
Did you have a good time?
Oh yes, I had a good time, and they seemed to having a really good time because when I do like kind of a tour event around the world, what happens is that people tend to be a little bit over serious about themselves and they become quite stiff about it. So our fellow Bhutanese, they were laughing and playing and recording, but at the same time, they were very sharp when it comes to posture, yoga, movement, breathing, and very accurate the way the things that they should be doing. So I'm very happy and proud of them.
Oh, that sounds really interesting and exciting for you.
Yes.
So, Rinpoche, La, I believe this is your first time in Australia, right? And Perth is the first place you have been here.
Yes.
How is your experience so far? And like most of the Bhutanese will refer Perth as a second Bhutan, like literally so many Bhutanese here. And it feels like home seeing lots of Bhutanese around. And what is your say on it?
Well, number one, we don't have a zone yet over here, so I wouldn't say the second Bhutan. But definitely within the first hour of my arrival in Perth, I met at least 10 Bhutanese within an hour. So when I was in airport, I met one fellow Bhutanese, and he was helping me out, and then followed by in the hotel receptions, everyone is Bhutanese. When I was just having a coffee outside next to the street, and there was also a group of Bhutanese. They were just very warm and very kind to me, as they are back home. So it's very sweet.
Okay, it's so sweet of you, like to say these words to like Bhutanese who are living here. Also, it's not easy, you know. Like some people are studying, they're working, and when Rinpoches like arrive from Bhutan, and it's special for everyone. So I think they have a lot of connection with these things. So moving on to our next question, like let's jump into our spirituality now
Okay.
a bit. So, okay. So let me ask you, what is enlightenment? What does it mean to you, like personally, not in a spiritual term, but in your own like human terms, like your term?
Okay, first of all, it's going to sound very boring. My version of enlightenment. If you go beyond the illusionary mind and sense of contentment with the clarity and wisdom and a bit of compassion combined together, and that is pretty much the meaning of enlightenment for me, because there's no point being individual who says, I know everything, I understand the relative truth and the ultimate truth and the non-duality. In the meantime, you're not really engaging with people, you're not doing what you're supposed to do or should be doing. It doesn't have to be very traditional or modern. It has to be something practical and beneficial, right? So being realistic, I think that is very important. Having this idea of enlightenment and compassion and wisdom is great, but most importantly, being realistic, practical, is very much needed in order to say, I want to be enlightened, or I'm walking towards enlightenment. I think that these steps are necessary. Yeah.
Like you mentioned about being realistic, can you give me one example of it so that we understand in a better way?
I think, like an example, we have we fellow Bhutanese, our audience over here, have a very clear understanding about the cause and effect, karma, and so on. And many of us, when we perceive karma, sometime we tend to use the knowledge and understanding of a karma to make us even more weaker rather than becoming more resilient. So understanding about the karma and the spirituality and the teachings of the Buddha is to make us more resilient, number one. And number two is to adapt with our surrounding, being able to adapt with a different circumstance and carrying on with our inner quality and wisdom and clarity. And I think that is very important, because sometimes we can use the idea of the karma as a little bit like kind of excuse to make ourselves a little bit of escape,
Okay.
kind of blame to the past. But it has nothing to do with your past life. It's just to do with your reckless, irresponsible behavior
Okay.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
So you're just facing the consequence of that, and you're in denial of what may about to come. So being realistic in that kind of emotional awareness is very important, because you don't need to be Buddhist to have a little bit of better life, to live a better life. Of course, the surrounding matters, but most importantly, emotional matureness and then awareness of it is needed and necessary. Then a little bit of dharma on the top is the cherry on the cake. So yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay. Speaking about going back, like if you just imagine, like if you were to go back and speak to your younger self, what would you say?
I would say that there's 18 years ahead, tough road, ups and downs, a lot of loneliness, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of hopelessness. But you got to push through, because you will be a very happy person that you are going to become. I would rather tell myself just go right through it, rather than telling myself change the direction. I wouldn't avoid any mistakes that I've made from my past. I would rather say to my younger self, there's going to be a bumpy road, confusion, suffering, misery, but you got to walk right through it to be where you are, and to be where I am today. So I have no regret about it.
For all the choices you have made so far?
Yes, I'm not the most intelligent person. I'm not the brightest one. I'm not the greatest human being that ever existed, obviously. But to be where I am in terms of religious responsibility, and to have a certain kind of understanding of life, I'm very content of where I am today.
Interesting. Thank you, La. So, on a scale from 0 to 10, just starting out, like, where would you say you are right now in your personal growth, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, from the scale 0 to 10?
Oh, from 0 to 10.
Yes.
Spiritually, and what else?
Mentally, physically, emotionally,
Oh, yeah.
on your growth.
Physically, I want to get a six-pack.
Okay.
But jokes aside, spiritually, there's no limit. It's a continuation of awareness of the mind. Like I have described to you, emotional awareness, spiritual awareness. It is not something that you can finish in one day or two. Physical level, there's always a limitation, what you can do, can't do. So I think I would say maybe 7 out of 10, because there's many things to be achieved in terms of material speaking, in terms of projects and the ideas that I have. So I wouldn't say 10 out of 10. And there's more to be done.
Oh, that 7 is a really good number.
It's okay.
It's a good number. If I ask someone else, they're gonna say lower of it. So
Okay.
you are in a very.
Well, I was zero. I was zero for a very long time,
Of
so
course.
that's why.
I think everybody, in one time in their life, they are in the 0. So
Yes.
that's how we learn and how we cope up with things and how we become resilient at the end of the day.
Yes, I agree with that. And also, you see, if you've never gone through a suffering, you don't learn to appreciate. If you've never gone through a betrayal, you will never appreciate the honesty or transparency, right? You will just say, oh yeah, that person is great, or this is great, or that is good. But when you've gone through a rocky path, and then you tend to appreciate a lot of little things, a lot of big things along the same time.
Yeah. Just like we say, like pain is a powerful thing. We learn from it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Rinpoche, so you often speak about mental health. Do you think it is very important to speak up for the younger generations?
Yes, because the mental health is not something new from the Buddhist perspective. Because from the Buddhist philosophy, we say we want the well-being of all the people beyond the border, beyond the culture, beyond the different nations around the world. We think and we believe, the normal borderline that we tend to create, because like an example, if you're a country or nation or community, we say, this is my community, my country. But from the Buddhist philosophy, we say, all the sentient being is my relatives of the past, present, future. So the mental well-being concept is not something new, but is a different form of saying that people are going through a lot of suffering. How can we cope with it? And what is the coping mechanism? So I do care a lot, and therefore I teach yoga from the Vajrayana tradition, because when you do like a very grand empowerment, which I used to do and I still do, in a very traditional aspect, I respect that very much. But at the same time, sometime when we do it very traditional way, a lot of new Buddhist enthusiasts or those who are interested in Buddhism, they have a different perception of Buddhism. They think that Buddhism is like a Zen, like very simple. And then it turns out it is not that simple, because there's a lot of layers and barriers and empowerment and instructions and so on. And sometimes it's just really overwhelming, because majority of the people don't have time to think about it. They have to pay their rent, they have to pay for their kids, they have to take their family for holiday, they have to think about saving, they have to think about debt. There's so many things that they're already overwhelmed. So when they come to a Buddhist world, they want a painkiller. So when you're seeking a painkiller, you're giving them a hospital.
Makes sense.
So in terms of the magnitude that you're giving them, you're basically breaking them into pieces when you overwhelm them with even as a positivity, right? Like an example, you can't tell a 5 years old or 8 years old how to be a professor. So you have to go according to their capacity, tolerance, understanding, and limitation, and that defines you as a good teacher, good mentor, isn't it? If you're just trying to replicate everything, that doesn't make you a good leader. That doesn't make you a good teacher or leader to look up to. So I'm not saying that I'm great in everything that I do, like I said before, but the yoga seems to be, it's ancient tradition. It's 1,100 years old history, and it's been practiced by throughout different traditions. So what I'm trying to do is that I teach them yoga, I practice with them, I guide them, I meditate with them, and basically indirectly I'm telling them there's much more to be discovered within oneself, beyond the idea of I want to be happy, I'm sad, I want to be in peace. The simplicity of the emotion that we tend to perceive is not that. That's not it. There's much more beautiful experience that you can feel with this yoga, that you don't have to. You don't need to have a blind faith either. And like I said, in like many people, when they come to me and they say, "Oh, Rinpoche, I like your teachings. Can I be your student?" And no matter their social status, I always tell them, "Stay away from me." And I tell them, "Stay away from me, but I'm happy to help. And you should go and explore many other masters, many different traditions, and don't stick to the one who says that I'm your guru. You should listen to me." But that bond and connection comes over time, and not forceful implementation from the beginning. That's my understanding.
Talking about yoga, like when did you first initiated it? When did you first start it? And with what vision and idea? Like how did it come to you?
I definitely didn't went to South India to ashram or anything, just to be clear. So you don't get the different kind of impression when I speak about the yoga. Like an example, the yoga for me, I went to, even though I'm not a monk, I was recognized as the reincarnation of Kalu Rinpoche. I don't have his great qualities or great realization. I had to go through a lot of punishment when it comes to examination, not studying in a proper timely manner. But by the age of 14, I went to a 3 years retreat. It was 3 years and 9 months instead of 3 years and 3 months. First year was complete torture because I had no idea what I'm doing. I was not getting along with my practice or the people around. And the mind goes into a wonder, but when you're in the retreat, there's no place to wonder. So by second year, your mind and focus and clarity start to look inwardly. And therefore, I start doing yoga because it's part of the schedule, the practice structure. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it because it's not so much to do with the blind faith. It's not so much to do with believing anything. It's about living in the experience that your body can create. So it's like a little bit like when you go to gym, when you go running, when you go cardio, when you go for tracking. There's an experience that you feel in your body that nobody can give it to you. And that is a very much, even though it is a very great experience, it's not even close to what you experience as a yoga practitioner, because you physically you're not going anywhere. You don't
Yeah.
need interesting things. You don't need expensive shoes. You don't need expensive clothing.
Okay.
You are in the same place as yesterday, but due to a certain movement that you create, you're able to experience a bliss in your mind,
Okay.
a sense of contentment, but not really forceful. And that is something that I fell in love with. It in the retreat they do they do like once a day, and I end up doing like twice a day every day for 2 years straight. And during the pandemic, due to less traveling, I got an opportunity to do the yoga again, and I thought, why not just bring this, to the public, where they can practice as well, so they can feel what I feel, they can experience what I experience. And I look into some text, in the ancient text, it says this particular yoga can be given to the public after the seventh generation. So the lineage holder, she is a great Indian lady, enlightened one. So she said, after seventh generation, my teachings can be public, and it became very much public throughout Tibet, China, Mongolia, and Bhutan over the centuries. Yeah.
Wow. That
It's okay.
is very interesting.
I'm sorry for the history
No,
lesson.
I'm like into like it. I was like on like following the timeline and everything.
okay.
So you have been traveling a lot, and you have traveled a lot, and of course you get tired at the end of the day. So how does your daily life looks like, or how do you try to rejuvenate from your tiredness? What do you do? What makes you feel good, like relaxed?
What makes me feel relaxed is when I put my mind into something, I like to make sure it has a conclusive result and make sure that it's well organized in a certain structure. And that gives me the joy and happiness to move forward. But most of the time, I don't get the rest that I need, but you just have to push it through. And I'm okay with it, because it's difficult to stop the engine when the engine is already running.
Already started.
And I know myself, if I completely shut off my engine, it would take months and months and weeks to really to get into the zone again. So I prefer to be a little bit exhausted and rest a little bit and push it through with the next one. That's how I've been operating for the last 18 years. A lot of exhaustion here and there, but that's pretty much how I sustain myself. Let's put it like this.
So you know that self-care is very important.
Yeah, self-care is very important. You
Yes.
have to learn how to say no
Yes.
sometimes in
Yes,
life.
totally.
You have to make unpopular decisions so that you can help yourself a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I have watched a lot of your videos and podcast before I was decided to do this. So while watching a lot of your videos, you mentioned that even when you're so tired and you want to rest, you see people waiting for you. And that motivates you, like excites you, and that keeps you moving forward. Right?
Well, that depends. If I have an individual who is asking me about astrology and predicting her or his future, I would definitely say I'm not the right person, and please go meet some other great master. And I would spend maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay.
But then if there's a person who gone through sexual abuse or kind of like a addiction to a substance and going through a very difficult time mentally, then I would spend time with them for hours, and I would let other people wait outside, and I would give that person importance, and that keeps me going in terms of my responsibility. One of the responsibility, I would say, because I don't believe in miracles that I have. I believe in miracles that exist in our universe, but I do not believe I have a miracle. But as a human being, sometimes listening helps a lot. Sometimes just keeping your mouth shut and just listen to the other person. Let the other person speak. Let the other person just decompress. And just, a few words of encouragement without giving a motivational speech. And just a subtle, soft, gentle reminder that that person still exists, that person is alive, that there's a better tomorrow, that sense of growth and change in other person, that keeps me motivated. Yeah,
That's special.
it's okay.
Okay. So there are lots of fans. Are you aware of that? You have a lot of fans.
A little bit.
A little
A little
bit.
bit. I'm not Michael Jackson, so
I've seen, I think most people saw like your fan edits in Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And what is your idea on those like creative expressions of your fans?
it's great. It's just a different form of their expression and their appreciation, and I feel very happy for the acknowledgement and recognition. Because there was a lot of time that you go through without acknowledgement and recognition. So when there's some form of appreciation from their side, and just keeps me very happy, and I always respond back to them and say thank you very much for that post, and I really appreciate for your editing and and so on. Yeah.
Does that like make you feel good? Like sometimes you see yourself in the edits. Like how do you feel?
I was like, oh, that's new.
Wow. Like how did you make it? Like
And
that's very
I like,
creative.
oh, that the music they added, and then the pictures
And the transition.
and the transition. I'm like, okay, they're doing much better than me, so I have to do better.
You can just download it and post it in your own page.
Yes,
Maybe.
I could do that.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the greatest and the most unique initiatives, like the mindfulness, Gelufu Mindfulness City is taking place under the visionary leadership of our His Majesty the King. As a spiritual leader, as someone, a very significant figure, what are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this is very simple. Is that when I met His Majesty back in 2012, I met His Majesty since I was a kid. He's always been very kind to me. But then there was a time in 2011, 12 that I met him, and I was going through a rough patch. And then His Majesty said, that the youth needs a spiritual figure. You should do more social contribution. And all I could say at that time was, yes, Your Majesty, but I couldn't offer anything back then because I was reestablishing my own organization, because there's many centers of previous Kalu Rimpochey around the world. So I had to make sure everything is reorganized, and also not enough experience as well. But then as the year passed by, I was in Bhutan in 2022. I'm a Bhutanese, just so you know. So I was in Bhutan, and at that time I got an audience with His Majesty, and it was before His Majesty made the first speech of the Gelufu Mindfulness City. So he was explaining a grand idea, and I got lost in it. It sounds so beautiful and magnificent and spectacular. Every beautiful word you would like to put it in, it's right there. And but I just couldn't comprehend that. How how can I contribute in this? Okay, so last time was a social contribution. This one we are talking about the building a new city, and then he was mentioning something about the investment and so on. And I don't have a business background. I do have a little bit of management background of my own centers, but this is not even close to the building a city. It's a huge project, and then it's not about 20 years project or 10 years project. Of course, our fellow Bhutanese will get the benefit in the next 5 years and 10 years, maximum within 5 years, then gradually even more in the 10 years. But the city itself takes over 100 years to build and to establish everything down to detail. And then the more the more I listened to His Majesty and his passion, and the more I saw the reality of our country, and like an example, people coming over to Australia for job, for work, and the the unique thing about our fellow Bhutanese is that they love their king, they love their country, they miss their home, and they don't want to leave the country. They want to have an economic opportunity, and I also hear a lot of stories that people who are here in Australia who made, you know, not millionaires or billionaires or anything, but who made a certain amount of funds for themselves, and they just want to go back so desperately. Uh, so that's also the stories that I hear, and his Majesty, I have witnessed that he works so tirelessly. Because when I introduce some of my investors, and then sometime he goes into a meeting until 10 o'clock, past 10 o'clock in the evening, and then it just gives me more motivation to do more and more. And as a Buddhist person, I feel responsible for contributing, because if you have a big religious event, it is very common reaction that how can I, what would you like to drink? We will offer them desi, we will offer them tea, we will offer them talk. It is a natural thing to serve the other person. That person comes to your event. So the Gelipo is like million times in the same concept, basically. And you're just serving the Buddhist country, because there's not so many Vajrayana country in the world. And Bhutan is the only Vajrayana country that is left leading by His Majesty with the noble vision. And you have to understand, I think our fellow Bhutanese have to understand that His Majesty, have given this democratic, let's say, management of the country quite a while back. And like an example, England, or like in other, like country like Thailand, or like other countries, the royal families and the king and the queen, they have a choice not to engage in the social matter. It's more to do with the democratic parties that they have to manage, whatever the crisis. And our king, he throws himself out there and making himself, very with exhaustion, with tiredness, and then he still pushes through. And I think our fellow Bhutanese have to understand that and see that and appreciate that. And I think our fellow Bhutanese also has that unconditional devotion to His Majesty as well. And that is something very beautiful, I would say. And because you cannot create that, it has to be there naturally. So the love from His Majesty is unconditional, and the love by the people is unconditional. And when I see that in the Buddhist country, as a Buddhist practitioner, there's no better puzzle to be fit in, to dedicate your life in it. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry, long one.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. So,
Okay.
yes, so when we talk about the GMC, do you have any project with the GMC, or you have something in plan or anything like that, if you would like to?
Yes. So I had this idea about maybe I want to build a temple in Bhutan. And then when I had the meeting with His Majesty, and he was mentioning about, you'll have a land to build the temples and so on and so forth. I was like, yeah, that's great. I can build a temple. And then the more I saw the current situation of our country, and any countries, the world is going through a lot of crisis. Actually, it's not just Bhutan. Even the developed countries are going through a lot of bumpy road, a lot of crisis after crisis, whether it's a famine, whether it's a economical or social crisis, political crisis. There's multiple things that are ongoing. And so I think Bhutan, we are just facing the ripple effect of the global crisis. Let's put it like this. So first I got excited about the temple. I was fully focused on building a temple, with the academic institution. But then I thought about it. I said, okay, so the whole purpose of creating in Gelipu is to create jobs, good jobs, not just like something basic. So it's to create jobs, and that is the vision of His Majesty. So then I start to meet a lot of people. There's many things that I cannot say at the moment because it sounds like a bragging that, oh, I'm planning to do this, I'm planning to do that. But there's one thing that I can share with you is that I'm planning to build a racetrack to host an international race competition, and then also to create a sort of a village, bit like a Marina Bay Sand, but without the casino, but just the racetrack. So then there's the international artist, musician, actor and actresses, and they all come together when there's some sort of a global stage entertainment category. Because if you build like a FIFA, it's too big. It's way too big in terms of the how the mechanism has to come together. But the racetrack, you can host different kind of events, music events, art event, and then also the hospitality surrounding that. So that will elevate to the global standard of in terms of salary, in terms of experience. So that is something that we are establishing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. May I ask you, do you have a name for that village? Have you decided
No,
the name?
The name comes down to His Majesty's in his vision, his decision, because my job and my responsibility is make sure that I offer whatever I could, more like a menu. So then His Majesty makes the final decision, how to be coordinated, where to be placed, how it should look like. And then from my side, we want to finish soon as possible as the airport finishes around that time. That is our goal from my UK team. Our investors and all the people, they are ready to serve His Majesty. But then at the same time, it comes down to how His Majesty wants it. And nothing goes beyond without his instructions.
Of course. Thank you for sharing that with us as well.
You're welcome.
And Rimpochey, you have been traveling a lot. Like, where or have you been to a very beautiful place you still remember? You still have a vision or imagination about it? Like your favorite place to travel?
Oh, that depends. That depends. Bhutan, I'm not saying to make you guys happy, but if we can elevate our economical and a little bit of social structure into the better stages, I think Bhutan is the best place.
Best place?
Yes, I would say. Because, I've been to France, I've been to Italy, I've been around the world for the last 18 years. I've been to, Brazilian slums. I've been to Monaco. I've been to all the expensive cities and the poorest city and the street around the world. But you cannot replace Bhutan because, you see, when you go for a drive, which I like to do, I go for a drive in the morning, and then you look at the mountains, you see a prayer flag, you see stupas, you see temples. Nothing replaces that. There's the other side of the coin. In our country, everything goes a little bit slowly. Slow.
Patience.
Patience. There's a lot of reasons for that. But then on the other side, when I go for a walk, the oxygen, clear, no pollutions. And then when you go for, morning ride, and then you see beautiful temples and prayer flags. And it's just a very beautiful experience that you cannot find it anywhere else.
Yeah, true. Yeah. When we are here, everything is so fast. You go to work, you study, it's like so fast. By the time you realize, like it's at night at 12, midnight. And then in Bhutan, everything, when I like go back and think about it, it's slow. You know, you wake up, no, you're like, no, I don't know, like, how do I place that into thing? Like, no tension. There is a tension, but we do not like name it as a tension. But when we're here, it's like more stressed out for some reason. So I think there's a huge gap thing in there. So yeah, let's not talk about me right now.
It's
This is
okay, of
yours.
course.
Okay. Do you like music?
Oh, I do like
Do
music.
you listen to music?
Yes, I do listen to music when I do work out,
Okay.
and yeah. But
What is your genre
oh,
like?
don't ask me that question.
Okay. R&B.
No, no, no,
Not
no.
good.
It's a mixture of everything.
Okay.
It depends on the things that I have to do.
Okay. You're with your mood or your
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes. So, like, if I have to do kind of a religious event, I would rather listen to some kind of
Okay.
the very religious songs and that sort of a thing. If I have some event to do, then I would listen to different things, right? So, yeah.
Okay. So if I may ask you, like, if you were to enter a room and if you were preferred to choose a theme song for yourself, what would that be? Like anything, like when you're in a good mood and you enter a room, there's a theme song, just like a Hollywood or a Bollywood thing. What would that song be and why?
Oh,
Do you have a song?
I don't have the
Okay.
song, but the music that I listen to, a theme song, I would probably choose a Hans Zimmer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer. He's a German artist, I believe.
German
Yeah.
artist.
And the music that he creates
Okay.
is a phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
And all the big movies that you see in the Hollywood, actually soundtrack is coming from him. And if you just listen to his soundtrack, it's like a pure masterpiece.
Wow.
So it's not so much about I have cars, look at me. I have cash, look at me. You know, I
I have
live in a
money.
I live in a penthouse. Look at me. You
Yeah.
know, we started from the bottom. Now we're here.
With
Or
the
sort of.
chain.
Yeah. No. I rather like
Very
to.
calm.
It's
Very
calm.
soothing.
Yeah, very soothing, but at the same time, it's a bit like an orchestra. So
Okay.
it gives you a different kind of dimension experience.
Okay. You mentioned about having a musical festivals in GMC in the near future. So, would you plan like bringing this type of music genre, like during one of the festival in future?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
Beyonce,
I don't know.
Taylor Swift.
I know some people
Okay.
who are like the agents, but I cannot guarantee anything. Yes, I do know some people in the big music, the directors of the big music companies, producers, directors, CEO of the music companies. But but that has to align with the timing,
True.
because you can't make a promises way before any. It has to be on the right timing.
Are you excited for all this stuff for the
Oh,
GMC and everything? Like,
I'm very excited. I am very excited, but at the same time, it's not an excitement that drives me. It's a necessity. That when the King, His Majesty, is saying, "I'm gonna work. I'm gonna put everything I got. I'm gonna put my son and daughter in it to make them work, to lead, for the future generation." So when he throws himself in that kind of a overwhelming, with the sense of great commitment and dedication, it's not just an excitement. It's a sense of deep and strong purpose, because I know a little bit of history. Like an example, during the Ashoka time, he is the reason that Buddhism flourished in India. So he made it into a state religion, and when his empire existed, many of the temples were built. Many Buddhist temples were built, temples, institutions, and so on. But when the kingdom, when the emperor collapsed, the Buddhism was more or less taken over by foreign invasions and the local leaders and so on. It got really, it went into a sense of degenerate, sort of instead of growth of the academic in terms of Buddhist studies, practice, culture of the Buddhism, it kind of decreased over the time. So for me, it is very important for a Buddhist country to have a very strong economic power, so that the Buddhism will have the positive ripple effect, so it can sustain and maintain for a very long time. Because because Bhutan, they never use a Buddhism. We never use a Buddhism as a diplomatic tool. We always keep a Buddhism out of the politics. Like an example, Buddhist priests or monks or Rinpoches, they are not allowed to participate in the political elections or the political agendas and things like that. And I think it's beautiful. If the monks and the Rinpoches can intervene or involve into politics, and it's just a matter of time that it becomes very chaotic and confusion. So that is a very clear leadership by the fourth, His Majesty and the predecessor before that. So we have a constitution that keeps the religious in a separate order, the democratic structure in a separate order, and the only thing we need right now is a strong economic structure, where we can compete with the Singapore, where we can compete with Hong Kong and other other smart cities. But His Majesty is not building a smart city. He's building a mindfulness city that helps a lot of people rather than extortion. So that's the difference. Yeah.
Right.
It's okay.
I'm like into it.
No, please.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If you weren't a Rinpoche, what would you be doing right now?
Jobless, unemployed.
Really? Why? Why would you say that?
Not really. If I'm not a Rinpoche, I don't know. I would be somewhere else. Maybe I would be in Perth. I don't know.
Okay.
Working in a restaurant.
Working in a restaurant.
Yes. But I was recognized by my predecessor.
So you're born for it. You cannot
Let's put it
change
like
it.
this.
Yeah.
But I'm not equal to my predecessor. Yeah.
What are the challenges that the modern, generation faces, but the older generations might fully do not understand it?
The modern generation that they face
Yeah,
is,
today's in today's.
I think the modern generation, what they're facing is what we are facing, is that overwhelming information. And the older generation thinks that the information is limited and they think the world should function the way it functioned before. So they want to grasp to the past even more. And then the younger generation, they have just so much overwhelming information to the point that you're stuck. And the older generations, they're afraid to change, so they're stuck in the past. So that's pretty much the challenge that I see in the Buddhist world also. I'm not talking about the economic or business world or the political world. I'm talking about from my understanding. So that's where I spend the most of my time. I see that many of the religious figures, they like to, replicate and relive the past, which is nothing wrong. It's beautiful. But then again, we have to adapt the spiritual teachings to the current needs, with the current time and the current generations. And like an example, how you teach, how you guide, how you do the retreat, and so on. So I think adapting to the current time is very challenging because people want to have a very quick result, and you can't just deliver a quick result. If there's a quick result, I'm sure that many Rinpoches will get the quick result right away, but we had to go through different stages of experience, isn't it? So that's that. Yeah.
Especially, I don't know what other thing, but I feel like you have your authentic version of yourself. So do you think that realness, like being real, being authentic, being honest about yourself is important for every individual?
I think being real and being honest is very costly in the beginning. But if you hold on to that last string, not the rope, but the last string, and last string of that rope, if you just hold on to it a little bit long enough, it will give you much more happiness and joy in life. I would put it like this. I wouldn't say the honesty and authentic is for everyone, because maybe they're in a different stages in different life.
Yeah.
Maybe they are not in the condition to speak their mind. Maybe if they just wait for a few weeks or months or few hours, maybe they would be in a different state of mind, different circumstance, isn't it? So from my understanding, I I just be myself in the beginning. I lost a lot of people in the beginning, because I say, okay, this is my decision. It's unpopular, one after another, in terms of management, in terms of my decision and what I want, for my responsibility as well. So if you have a tolerance on losing, and the tolerance and the drive to rebuilding everything, and then you should definitely stick to honesty.
Honesty.
Yeah, honesty and authentic and being transparent. I think that is very important. But if you don't have the stomach for rebuilding things, if you want to put your head into the sand and avoiding everything, why not? That's also a life. People tend to be happier sometimes in that way, right? So who am I to say don't live like that?
Yeah. I think taking accountability of your actions
Yeah,
is crucial.
yes, accountability, and then transparency, and choosing the people around you carefully. I think that is very important, because in our life we will meet a lot of people, and choosing the people around you is very important. Mentorship is very important. There will be different stages of mentorship, and you need to be open to that. You can't say, this is my mentor, and I need to be fixated with that. As you progress in life, there will be different categories of mentor, and there will be different categories of friendship. There will be different categories of this, the social circle. You have to be open to it, but you also have to be observe and be decisive, and not always selfish. Sometimes you have to be generous. Sometimes you have to be self-centered, and you need to balance, with your wisdom, with your strategy, with your tactic. And you need to have many tools in your hand, and make sure you don't never try to harm others. Basically, it's just a waste of time. Even they try to disrespect you or corner you, never react, because that's just really waste of time. If you're not valued in one place, you're always valued in another place, and you can always find the growth and come back in the full circle, and you will be valued again.
Yeah, Rinpoche, it's like really hard when you cannot avoid things that distracts you, but at the same time, you cannot go around, like you mentioned. But it's very hard for individuals to do that way. Like, how could you tell someone who feels that way, like being reactive to something, like they know that they shouldn't be in that space, but they cannot help themselves.
Yes, but I'm not a person who has the answer to everything. So I'm not going to pretend like, this is my answer to you all. All I can say is that if people disrespect you, you should think twice about moving to different places, even though it means temporarily losing certain things. I think that kind of a drive is very important. If you're not willing to lose certain things and want to have everything, that is impossible in life. You have to lose certain things in life, and then you will gain certain things in life. Otherwise, if you're afraid to lose something and then want to gain everything and make everybody happy and make yourself happy, that doesn't exist. So you have to make a decision. What do you want for yourself? And because if you have a friends or family who really understands and support you, and you should go full swing, and then they will support you and understand you no matter what. So that's just my understanding. So I don't have an answer to everyone. Otherwise, they would think that, I applied the Kalu Rinpoche's answer, and then it didn't work out, and so on.
Yeah, people think that being a Rinpoche, you have to be perfect.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, that is a typical mindset of everyone. And what have you like? What do you think about like being perfect? What is that term describe? Like, how would you describe perfect as a Rinpoche? Or do you place yourself in that
Not really.
space?
No, I don't place myself as a perfect Rinpoche. I would rather be proud and be imperfect I don't even call myself a Rinpoche. I just Kalu, just call me Kalu. And I keep it simple. And I think that is better because you keep everybody's expectation simple as possible. But you also have to understand that not every Rinpoche can be perfect because some Rinpoches, they come from the wealthy family. Some Rinpoches, they had everything, they lost everything, like in my circumstances. And then you had to reestablish everything, reorganize everything, isn't it? So, and you always make some noises when you're reorganizing your house, when you're reorganizing your team and organizations and so on. So you have to understand that not every Rinpoche that has a big title is equal in terms of their experience of life, or they don't have the same capacity in terms of the material and surroundings and so on. So it's impossible to say that everybody has to be perfect, But I believe that many Rinpoches out there, many masters out there, they have a good heart and they want to do better, but perfection does not exist.
That's how people perceive things, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I understand. They like to have a beautiful angel who solves all their problems, but it doesn't exist like that, right? But I prefer, and there's a one teachings of to me by Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche and then also Siddha Rinpoche. Both of them, I met them, with a private audience and meetings. And I said to both of them, I said, I'm very disappointed with all the things that I'm seeing. And I'm trying to do my best, but then again, there's a lot of backstabbing and betrayal and not being sincere. So there's a lot of that. And I feel so disappointed. And yes, of course, things are better than before. But is this really it? I say, is this it? Is this the end? Is this the definition of the end of the destination? Is this the end of the destination? Because I'm doing all the what I'm supposed to do, right? So is this the end of the destination? Is this how it looks like, the real world and the religious world? And then Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche and Siddha Rinpoche both said the same thing. And they said, the past is beautiful and ugly, present is beautiful and ugly, the future is beautiful and ugly. So, and then that helped me a lot, to be realistic and just move on with my own path.
That acceptance, you accept and you move on.
Yes. Because sometimes when we read the history book, everything looks very magical and colorful, right? So when you hear this kind of answer from the great masters and
that's
yes,
reality.
Yes, reality and practical approach sets, the path.
Thank you. Okay, so maybe something exciting, like what? Oh. Yeah, we're late. So okay. So, what does happiness and love mean to you?
Oh my, what does happiness and love mean to me?
Yeah. In your own term, like.
In my own term. At this point, I'm in a rabbit hole, and I don't know what to describe at this point. Happiness and love, because before I used to have a lot of imagination of love and happiness and how it should be and should not be. But then over the time, as the responsibility carries on, the happiness and love becomes quite blurry at some time. Just long as that you keep certain people happy and the family members and the team members happy and sharing and being transparent and spending time together. And that's pretty much the happiness, because you can buy different material things, but that excitement goes away pretty quickly. And you can go to different places. Yeah, it's amazing. You take some pictures and video. That's so exciting. I've been here, done that. But at the end, it's your, not all your family members, just few family members, a few non-family members, but who are very close to you as a family. So long as you have this two intact together, working together, that's pretty much the stability and the happiness and love that I have right now. And I rather hold into this one than looking at something else, to be honest.
Is that a healing for you, spending time with them, connecting with them?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because I have in a very few friends, but some of them they're Jewish, some of them and they're Australians, and some of them they're British, and some of them are Bhutanese, Tibetans, and so mixture of different culture, but very few of them. And then also the team and the lamas, we have an international background as well. So, keeps me happy in that way. Yeah. Not adding anybody new at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are here for how many days?
Just for a few days.
Okay. So what is your plan for tomorrow or moving forward?
Oh, tomorrow we have a kind of a empowerment, Niguma Long Life Empowerment event, and then have some meetings on Monday, and then have to go to Canberra and Brisbane, and I have to meet more Bhutanese over there.
Yeah, we have a lot there actually.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, regarding, it's my first time in Australia. It reminds me of Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yes.
Similar?
Yes, similar, because
Okay.
Australia being a former British colony, and Vancouver also being a former British colony.
Yeah,
So
makes
it's the
sense.
whole city structure, people, multicultural, diverse. It's very similar between Canada and Australia. People seem to be a little bit laid back compared to United States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
A little bit. You should try New York, then you will see.
Okay. Maybe. Do you like readings?
Oh, no, I don't like
Okay.
readings.
So if you have a chance to pursue a qualification, is
Oh.
there anything you'd like to do? Take.
Oh, my. I used to, I do love readings when it comes to history.
Okay, you
yeah.
mentioned a lot of times history.
Yes, because I don't want to make the same mistake
Oh,
again and again.
like history about yourself?
It's history about the religious
Yeah.
religious figures,
Okay.
political leaders, and the monarchies. Yeah. So I like to listen and read a lot of different historical figures. What was their, how did they came into power, and what was their downfall, and what was the lack of foundations in certain structures. So these are the few things. I'm not
Okay.
really a professional, just as a hobby.
Hobby.
Yes.
The reading history.
Yes, reading and watching histories, and
Okay.
and I always try to learn the history from many different angles as possible, because sometimes the history is written by one country, and they
They
just
have
want
different versions of the
yes,
stories.
yes. So I like to always hear a different version of the stories, because that's how I manage with my team as well. No matter who says he or she is wrong, I make sure that everybody shares their version of the story, and then let them debate with each other and debate with me with their argument and with their belief, and then it becomes a conclusive result over the time. So that's that. What was the other thing that you asked, other than the history?
Oh, like if you were to take any qualifications, if you have a chance.
If I had a chance, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I have
You
no
never
idea.
thought about it.
No, I didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah. Like, for example, I want to do a PhD in something like psychology or counseling. That's what I think, because I have that's what I study. And there must be something like you'd like to explore, you're excited, or you always looked forward to it. No?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I just want to be a philanthropist to help people, whether it's a religious organization, whether it's a charitable organization. So that is pretty much my aim, because having sort of degree, that's not what I'm really looking forward to. It long as I can connect the right people, setting up the right structure, making some changes in the way of life of the people. Like an example, in Bhutan, we are planning to build a old age home.
Wow.
So people who need a temporary home or old age care, we're going to build it. We're going to land lease it from the government, and then something like very sustainable. So these are the things that I would like to do it, and yeah, rather than having a degree. That's just my passion, because during the pandemic we helped like around 16,000 people in India, and for food, medical clothing. We also donated some to Bhutan, but due to the blocked border back then during the COVID time, it was difficult to offer anything. But yeah, so these are the social things I believe in, contributing in a social matter, because me as a Buddhist practitioner, I would like to see a young generations where when they look at the Buddhism, I would like them to see that Buddhist figure, this Buddhist figure, that Buddhist kingdom brought me on food on my table, paid my rent, helped my career growth. I am seen because of this Buddhist countries, Buddhist social structures, Buddhist leaders, that I'm able to serve and support my country and my people and my family. And these are the things that I would like to see. So then it's much better.
That way.
That's just my humble opinion.
Okay. Do you watch movies?
Yeah, used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays it's just here and there, not even interested.
And also during your free time, like how many times do you go to gym? Like every day? Does it have to be every day? Like
it depends where I am.
Okay.
If I get every day, I go like 5 times a week. It kind of like where I reduce my stress, sort of a thing.
Oh, okay. It helps to reduce your stress.
Oh yeah, it does. A little bit of meditation, a little bit of temple, a little bit of eating healthy food, and visiting gym.
Visiting gym.
Yeah.
Anything you want to talk about?
Anything I want to talk about?
Anything. Your message to everyone, our viewers.
So, my message is, I think, let me think carefully.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You can cut it.
Okay. My message is this, that His Majesty have instructed to our fellow Bhutanese who are based in Australia and a foreign country that you should live your life in a foreign country and then look after your family and friends, but eventually you must offer your experience, your skills back to your home. So I think that is very important because Bhutan is a very small population compared to other countries. And so your skills, your experience, your contribution, your wisdom is very much needed. There will be never a perfect timing, just so you know. You just have to make a decision. So His Majesty is working very tirelessly for Gelefu Mindfulness City, being very generous to all the religious figures and the business people around the world to create an opportunity for us. And I think that you should choose your time wisely and eventually to contribute your time and your skills and your experience back to our country. I think that is very important because Bhutan is a Buddhist country. And if you are a Buddhist practitioner, you have a responsibility, that responsibility in your hand. And in order to hold the country, in order to hold this kind of a vision of His Majesty, we require all different kind of skill set, not just one kind of a skill set, but so many different kind of a skill set. And I think long as you follow the vision and instruction of His Majesty, there's nothing else to be worried about. And I'm just a reminder over here, passing the message to you. And wherever you are, whoever is watching this, I wish you all the best and Dashidele. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time as well.